guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. I'm back here at Moss Nissan in Newport Richey, Florida, because guess what? You've asked me for it, and since you ask, I deliver. This is the 2020 Nissan Maxima. This one is their top trim, known as Platinum. But before we get into this Maxima Platinum trim, let's talk a little bit about the history of this four-door car from Nissan. First Maxima to hit our shores was all the way back in 1981. We are now on the 7th generation of the Nissan Maxima. Over the years, things really started getting very sporty with the performance and that engaging drive that you got from behind the wheel of a Maxima, so much so that Nissan called it their four-door sports car. Now with this current one, in its 7th generation, Nissan is still saying that that driving engagement is still there. And one thing that's probably going to blow you away is when we get to the interior, being a Platinum trim, some of the fit and finishes that you're going to find on the inside are really going to be of an upscale overall experience. With this particular car, this is a full-size four-door luxury sedan going up against the likes of the Toyota Avalon. This is not really a main competitor to the Camry or the Accord, but a lot of people like to throw it in the mix. With this car though, 300 horsepower underneath the hood, and like I said, what Nissan says is that four-door sports car wrapped in that 7th generation of styling. Let's go ahead, dive into this 2020 Nissan Maxima. Now right off the bat, you're gonna notice some styling changes. Last year, 2019, there was an update. They redid the whole headlight design. You're gonna have LED headlights, LED daytime running lamps, and turn signals. One thing that's very interesting about the housing is that it integrates nicely into the front fender. Look how far it goes into that fender, up on the hood and the front fascia. And it has this very tasteful black trim, which allows it to mesh very well with the overall black on this car. We drop down, you have some gloss black, LED fog lamps. One thing I am gonna zonk is that fake vent area. They should have just left it smooth. If it was smooth, it looks sexy. That kind of just looks a little off, but you do have functional LED fog lamps. Now, as we come across that reshaped front fascia, this was totally redesigned last year. You have your Nissan badge, that V-Motion grille. I don't care what Nissan you're looking at currently on a lot at this dealership or any dealership in the world. You have that V-Motion, that's part of their brand identity. A little bit of gloss black, you drop down a little bit more gloss black. I like the way they brought the chrome trim along the bottom portion of the front fascia, kind of blends it in nicely with the V-Motion grille, but definitely in black, very low, very wide, very sinister looking for a Maxima. Now, when we get up onto the hood, you'll see the body lines smartly start on the front fascia, go into that hood, and then what's nice is they just go right towards the A-pillars. There's this raised, a lot of people miss this section, there's this raised area that kind of starts at the middle of the hood and then V's out and goes towards the windshield. From behind the wheel, you really could see that raised area of the hood. Now, when we come around the bend, this is what we're working with specifically on the Platinum trim. This is a 19-inch wheel, nice metallic gunmetal gray, really works well with the black on this particular car. Decent design overall, 245 on the width, and that's a 40 series sidewall. Makes it look really, really sporty, and especially with a lower sidewall, you're gonna get a little bit better handling. Rougher ride, but better handling, but that's the compromise. As we go down the side, check out the unique body line. Starts in the fender, drops down. That belt line drops down and then goes towards the back. Little bit of chrome on this one, having the black on the A-pillars on the roof. You got a nice large panoramic sunroof, kind of blends everything in. You have color matched mirror caps with the turn signals, chrome on your door handles, and then really even great lines along the bottom portion of the car. Gives it plenty of personality, so it's not like a flat slab going down the road. Speaking of going down the road, look at the way the air kind of comes off the back into this floating roof design. If this was a two-tone setup, you'd really see that floating roof design. And look at how far back they take that chrome trim all the way to the rear of that pillar there. We get to the back, you have upgraded taillights that came into play last year, LED brake lights, Maxima badge, a little bit of chrome, and then you have the updated exhaust, quad exhaust tip. I actually like the way they integrate it very nicely. Obviously, these are decorative trim rings with functional exhaust behind them. One thing I am gonna zonk, what are these cheese graters? Do I have some Parmesan? Am I gonna make some spaghetti or something and use those as a cheese grater. I don't understand why they got to put that design element into it, but I do like the very simple lower rear bumper area. But why don't we go ahead, pop the hood, and see what's making 300 horsepower in this Maxima. All right, guys, we got the hood pop. You do have hydraulic hood struts. Underneath the hood is naturally aspirated V6 power. So engine cover, it's got a little bit of design into it, not the greatest looking, but I've seen worse for sure. You're looking at that 3.5 liter V6, 300 horsepower, 261 pound-feet of torque. I think the weak link in the chain is gonna be that CVT transmission. Could you imagine this car with 400 horsepower, a real transmission, like say a 7-speed automatic transmission, maybe a DCT, and all-wheel drive? Sign me up. Now, this particular one weighs around 3,552 pounds. It is front-wheel drive, 0 to 60 in a very crisp 5.7 seconds. MPGs, 20 in the city, 30 on the highway. Definitely what's great about this car, especially if you were to compare it to the Honda Accord, which we're not, but if you were, having naturally aspirated power, you have a nice linear torque delivery, which really gives you great driving experience. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the interior and see what's bringing to the table by the Maxima. All right, guys, come on in to the 2020 Nissan Maxima Platinum Edition. Now, I know you're at that point, you're like, Joe, you know what? I kind of forgot about the Maxima. I'm really digging it. How much is this particular one? Now, this is full trim, highest trim level. You're looking right around an MSRP of $44,000. Let's see what you get for the money. Now, I'm loving what's going on the door panel. Soft touch material across the top. That orange stitching looks absolutely spot on the money. A little bit of gloss black, and then I like that darker gray treatment to it. And it's got this nice design that's a little hard to pick up on camera, but it looks really great. The stitch work carries into the middle portion. Look at that armrest, nice and soft. I love the leather. Small pocket though. You might be able to fit a taco in there and maybe a bottle of water. That's about it. This does have the optional Bose sound system. Now, when you get to the dash, soft touch material, that stitch work throughout. There's that nice, like I said, gunmetal gray. It's got this diamond texture to it. Really gives it that little extra something special. And then when we get to our infotainment system, I don't know if you can see, it's a little bit tilted towards the driver, little driver focus. You have an 8-inch infotainment system screen. There's your Pizza Hut if you want to get to Pizza Hut where we're filming right now. But of course you have navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. We'll go into the menu button. Real easy to navigate through. It is a touch screen. There's a clock, believe it or not. You hit camera. We have cameras out the front. You got your 360. And then when I throw it into reverse, here we are out back. And you do have trajectory, which is really great. You toggle down, you're gonna get your dual climate controls. Easy to understand, easy to figure out. Start, stop button conveniently placed. A little bit of that silver gunmetal trim. Open up door number 1. You have a USB, actually a USB-C, a USB, and an aux jack. Would have been nice to have wireless charging in here. What you can put in here is the Hope Diamond. If you don't want your Hope Diamond to get a scratch, put it in there. Other than that, you could charge. 2 cup holders. Here's our dated key fob. They've been using this key fob since the Earth was created. The good news is it's small, so it's not gonna poke you in your private parts, but the bad news is it just looks dated. It's got remote start though. It's very small, which is nice. Kind of looks like a little battleship or something, but 2 cup holders, ventilated seats and heated seats, and it's easy to understand the control form. This is gonna control that CVT transmission, like the stitch work, even on the boot, which is really nice. You have your direct drive control knob to go through different settings on your infotainment. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. The stitch work is great. Nice soft material. Ooh, armrest. Digging it. Nice material. Lift this up. We have more felt lining, and you're going to have a 12 volt in there. The good news is the felt lining, you're not going to scratch your Twinkie, which no guy wants to scratch their Twinkie. The bad news is it would have been nice to have wireless charging at $44,000. Here's the great news though. Check out the seats. This material, so soft. I love the color. And then when you come down, you got the diamond stitch work going on. Of course, full electric for both the passenger and the driver. And like I pointed out earlier, we have that panoramic sunroof, which is really, really nice to let in the sun's rays, get a little bit of vitamin D for everybody. You do have an auto dimming mirror, but I am gonna zonk it because this is not frameless. It's that bulkier, older design. One thing I also forgot to point out, this does have a CD player. So if you wanna break out the CDs and just rock out, you could do that in your Maxima. But why don't you come over to the business end? I wanna show you behind the wheel of this Platinum Edition. All right, guys, business time. You do have 2 memory settings on the door, easy to get to right here. So that's a nice touch. I like the silver on the sill where it says Maxima, kind of reminds you what car you're in. You have your electric seat controls, which is really nice. Bolstering, a little bit, it's just enough. Very comfortable. Steering wheel is one of my favorite parts of this car. It looks like it was taken right out of a GTR. Flat bottom, and on the Platinum trim, they took the brown with the black leather. This looks classy. This feels good. Buttons are a little dated, but you know what? They're easy to use and they're flat black. You don't have paddles, so if you want to manually shift, you have to do it with the shifter. Why don't we go ahead, take a look at the instrumentation. So you have your analog tach, analog speedometer, which is really nice. And then of course you could toggle through different information in that center display, which makes life easy as well. But overall, nicely set up dash arrangement. I even like what they did on the hood here with the stitch work. Really shows that they thought through the touches where they were gonna place them. But why don't we check out that back seat and see how your passengers are gonna enjoy their time in this 4-door sports car. All right, guys, back seat time. The good news is that with this being a full-size vehicle, getting in and out is easy. I got plenty of headroom even at 6 feet tall. Leather goes all the way around. Feels like a baseball mitt. You got your large pocket where you could actually put a baseball mitt in there and a couple baseballs. Nice to have a couple balls with you. And then you have 2 rear AC vents with the silver trim, a USB-C, a USB, and these seats are heated back here. Plus I have a pocket on this side. I did not move either of these seats, so you can see the room that we have back here, but I'm telling you, the cushion is really nice. Of course, you got an armrest. Look at that. You got your Twizzler holder here, 2 cup holders. You can put some Twinkies in the door panels, in the pockets very nicely. But why don't we get to that trunk and see how much space is in this Maxima. All right, guys, time to open up the trunk, see how much room we have. Real simple. You push. It's not electric assist. You're going to have to lift. Here is a little bit of a zonk. It's tight on the opening. The opening is tight, but the good news is once you get it past that opening, your seats will do a 60-40 split. And the other great news is that it's fairly deep inside the cargo area back here. It just, the opening is not the widest. So if you want to get that 80-inch screen TV, you may have to strap it to the roof because it ain't gonna fit in the trunk. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's take this Maxima Platinum for a spin. All right, guys, we're leaving Moss Nissan. We're in the 2020 Nissan Maxima Platinum trim. Right away, you feel comfortable in here for sure. The seats are very, very supportive. And the touches that they added for the Platinum trim really help bring up the level of fit and feel in here for sure, especially like the stitching on the dash. It's funny, you would think stitching on a dash, like what would that actually do, but it actually brings an extra nice touch in here. The steering wheel, the 2 pieces of leather sewn together, that's another area where it feels really, really good in here. Armrests are nice and soft. Visibility out the back window's great. Looking out over the hood, you got that little raised middle section like I was telling you about. Other than that, you see the 2 corners of the fenders there, and it's real easy to kind of navigate through. The car does not feel large. So if you're really thinking, well, if this is a full size, it's definitely gonna be more cumbersome than an Accord or a Camry. No, not really. And I think your passengers are gonna thank you for it as well. Getting comfortable behind the wheel is real easy. You got a nice electric tilt and telescoping steering wheel, and of course all the electric controls for the seats. Like I said, I think if I could have a wish granted for the Maxima, it would be 400 horsepower, all-wheel drive, 7-speed DCT. All right, guys, since Nissan touts this as a 4-door sports car, I figured we'd go down some twisty bits. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle. So remember, you got that CVT, simulated shifts. On the brakes, feel good. And for a full-size car, 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds is nothing to laugh about. super smooth power delivery. And the simulated shifts are doing a good job of cutting back on that loud drone that you get, that CVT drone. Very, very smooth. Nice feeling to the steering, which is great. I'm gonna go ahead and put in sport mode real quick before we hit this next bend. On the brakes. Brakes feel great. Little bit of front end push because it is front wheel drive. It just would be so interesting, this car with more horsepower and all-wheel drive. Into this right-hand bend. It grips fairly well, and you know, we're not running any kind of track day tires or anything like that. Going down this road, even with the ripped up sections, very, very smooth. Soaks up the bumps nice. Back on the brakes, and these are tight, obviously 90-degree turns here. Look at that, very nice. Good feedback coming through the wheel. Sport mode is going to adjust the parameters of how the engine and the transmission behave. Back on throttle. I'm wishing I had a little bit more sound, like good engine sound coming into the cabin here. Back on the brakes though. Look at this, feeling good. On throttle. So not too shabby. I mean, it's a full-size car. Actually handles quite respectably. Yes, you're gonna get some of that front end push because it is a front-wheel drive car, and you're hustling around a bit of weight. I'm telling you, all-wheel drive, 400 horsepower, you got a winner here. This at $44,000, if you could work a deal and get it below 40, I think you're getting a lot of car for the money, for sure. And I think you're gonna have a car that you're gonna enjoy driving, especially with all the touches you get in here. From the panoramic sunroof, electric tilt and telescoping steering wheel, power seats, the nice leather material all over the place. Just, there's no wireless charging. That to me is a major zonk in a car at this price point. But handling overall, not too bad. Was it perfect? No, of course not. But no car is perfect, so we can't really look at that. Guys, rolling out on this highway one more time on throttle. So, like I said, I think it's a nice balance with the amount of power you are getting and just everything else at the Platinum trim on the interior. Infotainment system is easy to read, easy to understand. Having Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is a nice touch. And like I said, if you got a massive CD collection, you got your CD player in this Maxima. But we're gonna go ahead, get back to Moss Nissan and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another wonderful day here at Moss Nissan 2020 Nissan Maxima. Definitely got to thank David Moss and Christian and Ray and everybody here getting us access to this car. What can I say about it? It's sort of like Goonies never say die, and it seems to be the truth with this Maxima. Been around for 7 generations. I'm ready for a redesign. Is this still something that you should add to your list if you're looking for a full-size car with some personality that has a very nicely done interior, especially on the seats? I think this is definitely one you need to check out, especially if it's been a while since you've been to a Nissan dealership or in a Nissan product. But if it's cars like these that you like to see on the channel, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raity's Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Raity's Rise merch. Got to give it up to Big Guns McGee, Tom Moschner, working that camera like a champ, getting all the angles of this Maxima. Thank you, Tom, for your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.